All right, everybody, our draft has started. We are currently at the tiebreaker. It's a little bit of a mini tournament that we're currently running here to determine the last two teams that will advance to the Last Chance Qualifier for Dreamhack Tour tomorrow, which is at the same time also the second summer regional final for Europe. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, we're starting with game number one, our draft here between Team Oink and Casual Logic Gaming on Battlefield of Eternity. I'm not alone today, though. I'm with AntiHero now, and we're gonna, of course, like go through the draft here and also through the games together. Not really a big surprise, Anti, to see a Kalthas being banned this
Yeah,
early, considering how strong that hero was actually at Leicester.
Kelta's really ramped up recently. He got quite a lot of popularity.
And
And then
also an Illidan ban immediately. Are you really surprised by that?
I think Battlefield of Eternity is a really good map for Illidan because he has the huge chase potential on this map. And I think like heroes like Abathur, which are also strong on that map, might synergize a little bit too well with him on that one.
Casuals actually like looking at a Tassadar right now. I mean, even with Illidan out of the picture, if you can rely on a Sonya, on a Thrall together with Tassadar plus a second support, still extremely powerful. And I mean, that's not the only thing where you can use Tassadar as like the enabler guy, but also the vision on the map is of course pretty sweet. What would you personally expect from Team Oink right now? What do you think would be a good start for
I
them into the
I
draft?
think Li Ming is open and Li Ming is still pretty strong, and I would like to see them picking it up, maybe with the Muradin as a second pick
Mhm.
as well, so they cover the tank role with a really or maybe they will go for the ETC and Muradin, yeah, the double tank combo to deny the enemy tank.
Yeah, we've seen it also a little bit in Leicester that a few of the teams have really leaned towards an early double tank here, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Guys, by the way, we're currently in patch 17.4. Tracer is not allowed right now. She is going to be allowed for the actual event at Tour for Dreamhack, but here in the qualifier, she's still a little bit too new to the Nexus, so she's not allowed for this event. So with ETC and Muradin, as Antihero already said, we have a bit of a pressure play against the tanks on the side of CLG. I mean, there are still a couple of around. What do you think is the best option for the casuals at this point? Do you think they're going to head into a Johanna, or what would you
I
expect
I
from
think
the boys?
I would secure a Fawcett is pretty solid pick. Li
Hmm.
Ming is still open. We
Yeah.
shouldn't forget about her. And I think Johanna should get picked up, or maybe look forward to going with a Stitches composition. But it's kind of hard against double like hard tank with ETC and Muradin. So I would like to see them pick up Johanna now, so it doesn't get banned in the second ban rotation,
Hmm.
because they might struggle with that banned out.
Yeah,
Picking
looks like.
like showing Tyrandy, maybe going into Stitches though.
Yeah, with Taranda, like even if Johanna gets banned right now, they're still in a position where, as you mentioned before, going into that Stitches would actually synergize pretty well with them because they can go into this hook and stun combo, as you already mentioned with ETC and Muradin for Oink, which are two of the CC tanks and two really strong ones at that. It's of course always a little bit tricky because they can engage into you, but at the same time, after 16 with the fishing hook, they can really get their snipes there. Are you a little bit surprised though that we still have Li Ming open, considering that she's one of the strongest poke heroes that we have, and on this map in particular, she's therefore quite strong?
I'm not surprised that Oink didn't pick her because they have their draft in mind and picked like a double warrior composition to deny. But I'm kind of surprised by CLG that they didn't pick up Li Ming yet. We could have seen Tyrandy picked later. Maybe they were scared that they might like that Oink might pick her. But I would have also liked to see them picking up Fawcett and Li Ming and then maybe look into another second support like Rega or Monk
Hmm.
instead of the Tyrandy here because I think she's pretty early. They maybe could have banned her out as well. But let's see what they're going for.
I mean, Tyrande at least gives them the option to use the Starfallen once again. We've actually seen a lot of combos also with Tyrande plus Kalithas, which in this case is of course already banned, to just capitalize on that huge AoE that you have with the heroic ability on both. With Sonya and Thrall being banned out, we're having, well, Future. Wow. Dude, thank you very much for that. Okay, that was a little bit unexpected, but thanks, dude. Very much appreciated. And yeah, nice picks here for Oink as well.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much for the great work. The interviews and constant updates through Twitter during Leicester were amazing. Cheers, my friend.
Dude, thanks for that. The interviews were actually one of the things that I would like to do a little bit more often, but I always had a bit of the feeling that people didn't really like them as much. But, well, in the sense that they didn't get as many views as normal games, but it's always interesting to see what the players have to talk about that. But yeah, thanks again. Really appreciate it. But coming back to the draft for a moment, we have talked before we had the notification coming in that Sonya and Thrall actually both banned out. Those are, of course, two heroes that you can really enable with Tassadar quite a bit. With Oink banning Sonya, it wasn't really a big surprise to see CLG reacting with a Thrall ban to make sure that Oink couldn't pick up on that. But we have now immediately for Oink two very, very good poke heroes being picked. Li Ming, you talked about the hero already a lot, AntiHero, and also, of course, Lunara, which we mentioned earlier when we were talking about the game that was played at Leicester, especially that level 7 talent is going to be super strong on her.
Yeah, we saw Shrimpy using her quite well in Leicester with the Nature Sculling talent on 7, and I think it's a pretty good pickup for them here with like two heavy frontliners in front of her. She quite has the protection she needs to be doing damage. And CLG then with Stitches, as we talked about already, and then the Vala pickup. I do not like Vala here too much. I would have liked to see like a Jaina maybe. It's quite risky, but they need some burst damage. For now, they don't have that much of burst damage against the enemy team.
Do you feel like Vala with the Rain of Vengeance would provide enough burst after a stun with Tyrande to make a difference here?
I think it could make a difference, yes, but I kinda would have liked to see Jaina still. But I think it's a fine pickup for CLG. A more solid pickup and more safe.
I mean, with Li Ming and Lunara, that's a crazy double pick for them. I really feel like when we're looking at the draft, the double front line, Li Ming, Lunara with Rhaegar, they have a great healer here. This is a crazy good draft for them.
Yeah, and then we see the last pick with Rhaegar here. I think it's a quite solid pickup with the double frontliner. The lightning shield gets a lot of value with those.
Definitely true. I mean, they could even go into the lightning bond if they feel like they need even more damage towards the immortals, have the double lightning shield. But either way, this is going to be a pretty sick setup for them. So guys, we're going to head into our first game. It's only game number 1 of the best of 3 series, of course. We have Team Oink going up against Casual Logic Gaming, and Battlefield of Eternity is our first map, so let's jump in right away. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 has already started, and we are currently looking at Battlefield of Eternity with Oink going up against the Casuals, a best of 3 series, where we have to the left side of the map Jiku on Muradin. We see Suris on Lunara, Nopsio on ETC, Lunan on Rhaegar, Wolfjo on Li Ming, and to the right side it's the Casuals with Chichu on Tassadar, we have Kreku on Falstad, Leo from Poland on Tyrande, Juf on Stitches, and Nika is playing Vala. And as already mentioned before, I'm not casting alone. Today I'm casting with AntiHero actually. And yeah, it's going to be a fun tournament. You excited for it?
Yeah, so we see the teams walking towards the middle, kind of like looking forward to each other, trying to meet them in the middle somewhere.
And already a couple of interesting talents here. First of all, we talked about the Lightning Bond during the draft already, so we have that double shield on Rhaegar to make sure that they put even more pressure onto the Immortal as is. But then also, we're currently seeing on Stitches, Dampen Magic. What do you think about that talent in this context now?
I think it's a pretty underrated talent overall. I think it's really good against Li Ming as well, and I quite like the pickup since you cannot gather that many globes on this map.
Yeah, at the same time, when we're looking at Nika, we have actually Vala, and Vala with Rancor. Rancor is actually a pretty interesting talent, since you get a 30% extra damage out of it, if you can keep your Rancor stats up, which is actually one of the reasons that, because of which when Blizzard introduced the changes, all of a sudden we had Tempered Discipline taken a lot on level 13, because players tried to maintain the stacks for as long as they possibly could. Not really that popular anymore, but having a huge auto attack focus right now, as Mopsio is trying to get the kill against Vala though, and Nika goes down. Nice moves here on the side of Team Oink.
Yeah, Mopsio with a nice flank from the bottom camp, from the siege camp, and got a nice pickup with his Faust right there.
Are you actually surprised that we're seeing Block on the side of ETC now? I mean, Block has been changed quite a bit, and it is even better than it was before. But when we're looking at ETC, he's still like one of those, I would say, utility tanks that you see, where Power Slide is just the better, or the higher priority for most of the teams. Is that something that surprises you?
I think Block makes sense here, considering the enemy lineup. They have like Vala and Falstad, which are quite auto-tech heavy. Same for Tyrannic, also does some. So I think it's a good pickup overall. And they don't really need to engage too much, since they already got another tank who can do that with Muradin.
Tassadar, by the way, had to go back here, so he already took a lot of damage from Suris up at the top, and Falstad had to fly in to really soak the experience, but now it's all about the first Immortal, and that's where both of them are starting to go straight for the red team's Immortal, which is already under attack, especially with Li Ming and Lunara. There's of course a huge amount of poke and pressure against the Immortal, even though we don't have Nature's Culling yet, which we can still expect for Suris as a level 7 talent, I suppose.
Oink was a little bit ahead, now they kind of trade 1-for-1 at the Immortal here. And I do believe in a straight up 5 vs 5 race that CLG might be a little bit stronger with their Hunter's Mark, and because like Oink got 2 heavy tanks which don't dish out that much damage.
It's actually a really good point that you bring up. We haven't really talked about Tyrande too much. There's of course a double support combo on the side of CLG right now. The casuals here with a very solid composition. But when we're talking about like immortal damage, then especially the vulnerable that Tyrande can put on one of the immortals is going to play a huge role. So that's definitely something that we need to highlight here a little bit more. The level 4 talents now also coming into play for both of the teams, as the first immortal is actually captured by the blue team and is now making its way down to the bot lane. We have once again also here healing totem taken, and on ETC after block still the double neck guitar though.
Yeah, he does have a little bit less range since he didn't take the level 1 talent, but the width is also not too bad here.
Now, of course, already a bit of experience soak up at the top lane, where we have ETC and Tacita currently doing her thing. And at the bottom lane, the first 2 towers are already gone. Immortal actually getting quite a bit of value here on the side of Oink, considering that the first one usually doesn't do too much.
Yeah,
nice attempt here also.
Yeah, you do not expect to get more than a wall, basically. Sometimes you trade off, like, the enemy team can kill the Immortal and you go 4-man top and kind of get the wall at the top in this case. But they decided to just push with the Immortal, got the wall. It's quite a nice lead, half a level already.
I guess the only difference is if they have a Sylvanas in your team, then things can become crazy pretty fast.
Then you should try using her passive and push with that.
So for now we have also Gathering Power build, by the way, on the side of Falset, so going straight into that Mage set build if you so want, trying to get especially a lot of siege damage with that build too, but a great poke against the Immortal as well. Whoa! And again the kill against Nika! Really well played here. They are not trying to, well, they're actually trying to go for Juve now too, and they might even be able to get him. Ziku had to jump out, but look at Stitches so low. He hooks Lunan on the other hand, and it looks like they might get the counter kill, and they do, but Falset is maybe paying with his life for it. Not quite.
Mobs is also pretty low, but this is again the same thing which happened in level 1 already. Mobster this time didn't come from the siege camp at the bottom, but he came through the bush at the slight top to the lane. And basically they did the same thing, and ETC power sliding from the side, securing a kill, but with a return kill this time.
Yeah, it actually worked out for CLG in the end, but you're totally right. I mean, that early kill was really well played, and they tried to go for a bit more, and they were actually punished. Thanks to a great hook on Juve especially. For now, with the level 7 talent being a little bit faster on the side of Team Oink, we are seeing them though with that Nature's Culling, and that's definitely going to be a huge asset when we're talking about that second Immortal that is spawning right now. We have also, by the way, on level 1, Astral Presence taken on Li Ming. Also, of course, pretty important. They're still on the map that has only 2 lanes, and they don't really expect to get too many of those globes just before the fights. So in this case, a slight adjustment in her build too.
Yeah, sometimes you find yourself out of mana on that map with Li Ming, and it's not that good if you want to race for the Immortal in the end. So even though it's not as good as it used to be, it's still quite a powerful pickup on this map.
Yeah, and we see how good actually that level 7 talent is. Nature's Culling put to some use, and they put that Immortal down to 50%. Juve is also in trouble. Kreku flies in after they just defended that Bruiser camp that was taken. And now, of course, it's still a bit of a poke battle that we see between the 2 teams. But now we have a very good situation for Team Oink, actually.
Yeah, you do have to care against Citrus that you don't go too deep against the enemy Immortal, especially with such a defensive spawn, because Citrus might get the value hook onto someone with a follow-up stun of Tyranny, and maybe even the Immortal adding with a stun after that. That's quite possible. So, like, Oink shouldn't go too far here.
Yeah, nice. Okay, Jiku jumps out because Stitches was doing exactly what you just talked about, AntiHero. Was trying to go for that quick hook and kill. Tyrande with a stun immediately present. But there's so much poke available still for Oink, and they're doing an exceptional job here. They're trying to burst it down, and they will get there. They might lose ETC on the other hand, but a good heal from Lunan saves him for now. Oh, but Suris is in trouble. Lunara not really the most hit point heavy hero. In this case, on the other hand, it works out quite well for them. Oink takes game, or takes Immortal number 2, and has now a huge push available to them.
Yeah, but you could see it there, especially. You talked about it already. The Nature's Culling in the end, it was basically dishing out 2k damage in the end, which was enough to secure it. And Mopsio, running low on health, basically retreated earlier than usually, because he saw the poison damage on the Immortal, which was enough to finish it off.
Yeah, now level full shields, by the way, on that Immortal, and that's already a bit of a problem there. So they go up to the top, where they will also hit level 10 if they continue like this. We have again the attempt to go for a quick stun here, but there's no killing. That's a huge problem for CLG right now. If the casuals are not able to kill anyone here and level 10 hits, then that is a massive advantage for Team Oink, and that's of course something that they're trying to run here right now, to not only go through the fort, but maybe even pick up a couple of kills here. And they will hit level 10 any second right now. The fort goes down, 10 is there, they immediately start to engage. Here comes ETC with a stage dive from the bot lane, already the kill against Tyrande, and they're still trying to pick up another one with Juve all of a sudden being isolated. Here's the disintegrate, that's the end of Stitches, resets for Li Ming, and a triple kill with Vala also dying. Great play here by Oink. And they are massively ahead right now on AntiHero.
Yeah, especially since the Immortal got the fort, you could see that Oink was heading towards level 10. And ETC with the good pickup, in my opinion, on the stage dive here, immediately making sure to fight there. So there was no time for the casuals to react to that, and basically they collapse onto them afterwards.
Do you think that the casuals should have moved back a little bit further? I mean, there was not really a there was no really a chance for them to make sure that they get that they secured the fort, right? They would have lost it either way.
Yeah, basically the fort doesn't give them any protection if the Immortal is on it, since the fort is shooting at the Immortal. So it was kind of like not the most open 5 versus 5, but basically after ETC stage left and they chased them further to the back where no structures are behind that, they kind of got a good fight for them. Like that is.
Yeah, bot lane with camps taken by both of the teams right now. There's no objective on the map, nothing really to do at this point except to try and get a bit more map control with the camps that have been around on the map still. Level 10 by now also finally ready on the side of the casuals, and that means that we have the Force Wall, we have the Mighty Gust, Strafe on Bala being picked up. She's a bit afraid to committing too far to the front line and is going to try and stay at a safe distance, especially with the pressure play that we've seen against Nika already. Starfall and Pyrrhic Bile to round things up now, but definitely an interesting setup that we have here. In this case we have 5 kills against 1, so far the game has been pretty much in the hands of Team Oink.
Yeah, I do like the pick up on stage dive again, because they are playing against a Forset, so they basically deny the soak, or basically soak the same as Forset is able to do with ETC. And ETC has kind of an instant jump, or like a faster jump than Forset has, so it kind of counterplays against Forset pickup here.
It's definitely something that we have seen at the EU regional finals a lot. The globals are incredibly important. That's usually the Haka and also, of course, Falstad. ETC now with the stage dive, as you already said, is picking up quite a bit of experience for his team as well, which is super important in this setup. Another Immortal is being fought over, and in this case, it's actually important to know that we are close to level 13, so that could give an extra talent to Team Oink pretty soon.
Yeah, it's kind of good damage racing here for the red team, because still, they have the Hunter's Mark, they should utilize it well. Oh, but down, this is kind of an unfortunate spawn, because it falls into a damage race and Team Oink needs to go fast here.
Yeah, and Mopsio jumps in with a stage dive, tries to apply the damage too. In this case, though, it is an Immortal for the casuals. Nature's Culling is pretty good, but it's still damage over time, with Lunara mostly. So in this case, thanks to Tyrande in particular, they were able to drop that Immortal slightly faster. Even with a level 13 talent, they couldn't really capitalize on it. And now that might be a chance for the casuals to maybe start a bit of a comeback. Not going to be easy against the talent advantage that we're seeing for the blue team, though.
I think the casual should just use this Immortal to soak up on some experience. Mopsio doesn't have the stage dive ready yet because he used it to push for the Immortal damage. So Krakow is soaking at the bottom, getting the well, getting some value here, and the team is rotating towards the bottom now as well.
Greater spell should has been used. The glass gun on the other hand for Li Ming. But as you already pointed out, the rotation here is going to be pretty important because they go down to the bot lane. They're of course trying to maybe take even one of the structures out. They don't really have the firepower though to take down the fort, and the problem is of course that they're very well aware that there's already rotation happening to meet that aggression at the bot lane. So they have to retreat for now since they still don't want to fight with a talent disadvantage. So they're going to try and soak safely until they hit level 13.
Yeah, also they still need to care. They are a level behind, as you said, and ETC can always stage dive to the bottom. He had like 10 seconds cooldown when the casuals were still pushing the fort, so it was a wise decision to back off earlier than they get engaged on.
Yeah, the bot lane at this point, we have still a huge push from Team Oink onto that fort, and they're going to get that eventually. Zuri is already putting a lot of damage on it, thanks to Lunara. All that poke, especially with the Nature's Culling. Here comes once again ETC with the stage dive, trying to go in, and they are sniping Tyrande. Great heal on Ziku, well done by Lunan. And now the turnaround attempt, but Juve is low, and they have to use the Mighty Gust for the disengage.
Yeah, but you could see the value of Starfall with Putrefy. It's a really good composition there. And they also have the strafe. It doesn't add up the burst, but the damage over time and AoE especially. And you could see Oink was getting on low HP. But they made sure to kill Tyranny fast, and Stitches also was quite on low HP, so they needed to retreat there.
Yeah, it's actually one of those things that you pointed out there where we have not only the Starfall, we have the Putrid Bile, then you have a Strafe in the back. That's one of those equations where you just like add the Phoenix of a potential Kalthas in and you have a death zone where everything that walks in just like explodes instantly.
Yeah, I do think that this Immortal will be very important. Same talent, and now it's kind of a good chance for the casuals to come back into the game.
Yeah, this is basically their best chance right now. You're totally right about that. I mean, they have an option or an opportunity to actually go for it. The options are to either try and go for a pick with Stitches and defend a bit at first, or to just immediately commit to an aggression against Oink, which is going to be a little bit harder for them since they have to engage into the opponent. They have to always be careful about that ETC that's currently soaking at the top. I like how Oink is currently trying to really exploit that advantage that they have with Stage Dive being the heroic ability on ETC, trying to get some additional experience for them. And they are really working towards that level 16, so the casuals are actually a bit on the clock now.
Oh, Zico getting poked quite a bit here. That might be an engage for the casual soon.
Uh-oh, there's the Avatar. Had to be used. Backline ET Siege Dive didn't hit anybody just yet. They're trying to go for Vala for a moment, but Juve and Leo are both very low. So is Tacita. Putrid Bile has been used, so did Starfall. And the well is still ready on the side of Oink, so they are just like trying to well up and will try and engage again. But yeah, right now the casuals have to be very careful. They're low on mana already on Nika. There's the hook. Jiku moves out immediately. Suris is still there for the poke, but both of the teams doing a pretty sweet job so far, staying alive in the mid lane.
Yeah, you can see the defender's advantage here, because the wells are pretty much closer for the defenders here. But that was a big plus towards Oink here.
Oh, nice cleanse that we saw on Lunara. That was important. And the kill against Vala. Great turnaround attempt here on the side of the blue team. They get the kill against Juve now too. Eat a lot of damage from Force, but it's just not enough. Fantastic. Gets blown away. What a kill by Wolfjo.
That was a pretty nice pickup by Wolfjo there in the end. And nice body blocks to kill the Citrus as well. I think that was basically the best way of Oink handling the situation.
And it kind of all started with that cleanse that we had. I mean, it was a great hook and also the stun on Lunara. And let's face it, if that cleanse from Rhaegar does not hit, if Lunan doesn't get that through, then they lose Lunara right there, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty important cleanse. But we also have to mention that Citrus with his hook, he obviously has a 16-second cooldown on his hook. So that's quite a bit of time. If he misses it or it gets negated by the cleanse, there's basically a big opportunity for Oink to use that time to get an engage going.
We have now 9 kills against 1, and we are 16 versus 14. I mean, the Immortal is going to move to the top lane, to the bot lane in this case, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think there's any chance that they are going to save their keep?
I think the keep will fall. It's going towards the bottom, right? So there's still a wall, and there's still the keep on full HP. So I think they will just get the keep. We also have to mention the Nature's Culling again, because it's so good against structures. So unless people on casual gaming CLG die, I think there's not more than a keep here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you look at the damage output, we have currently like only 1 death, by the way, on Rhaegar. We have 54,000 siege damage on Lunara in particular. Nature's Culling, of course, playing a huge part in that. Also 31,000 on Li Ming. Same damage as Vala, by the way. So even though we had a lot of pressure play against Nika, and he has 4 deaths already, he still was able to get a lot of damage out here. Not only with the strafe, but also with those auto attacks that we've seen throughout the entire game. Falstad, as kind of expected in this case, is also quite a lot of siege damage as well, especially of course with that gathering power build that he has there. But if we're looking at Vala, she has gone for full auto attack damage. We talked about the Manticore, we have, about the Rancor, we have Manticore, Searing attacks, and also the Giant Killer taken for her. And it really shows that there's a lot of pressure against the 2 frontliners, but with both of them being there all the time, Jiku and Mopsio are doing a pretty sick job still keeping the backline safe, and that's all that Lunara and Li Ming need to really get the damage out.
Yeah, so far in the fights, Vala has been most of the times the focus target by Oink, so Vala didn't have the greatest time in fights yet, but like as a poke with the auto attacks, with the Giant Killer, it's really strong against the tank.
Down here, Zico once again eating a lot of damage immediately. Healing Ward in a pretty good place, helping out a lot. Lunan, of course, also with the chain heals. ETC jumping in, trying to help out here. They're going for it. They're trying to get a kill. Oh, nicely played. Leo is down. Great move, but ETC dies too. The reset on Liming, on the other hand, allowing her to get even more damage in. The keep is already gone. The Immortal still has nearly full health, and they're starting to go for core here. It looks like Oink is actually trying to go for it.
Yeah, we do have to keep an eye out of Wolfjaw because he doesn't have too much mana. Zurus is also low on HP here.
Yeah, Zurus still with the Nature's Culling. Immortal is on the job, so is Zurus. That damage output that we're seeing here. Look at Lunara dishing out all the damage and they're actually doing it. There's the GG already called, and the first game is over just as the casuals pick up level 16. It's a 1-0 lead for Team Oink in this best of 3 series. Alright everybody, we are back and we are actually like looking at the draft here already. The teams were super fast with this one, and yeah, I gave us a link a little bit late. We had a bit of a broken link and had to go over the website itself to actually find it. But right now we are looking at Shire. We have a lead, of course, already in the series, as mentioned before, in favor of Team Oink right now, who won the first game on Battlefield of Eternity. So, as we said, we jumped into the draft a little bit late. Just to coolly sum this up quickly, we have Illidan banned out and Liming banned out, which actually allowed, in this case, Kalthas to be picked up. And Team Oink with the first pick went immediately for him. So Kalthas, part of this game. CLG with a very interesting double pick on the other hand, and I'm really liking this opening for them right now. Shire, of course, map, but huge team coordination is needed. And Dehaka and Falstad, 2 heroes with globals, have immediately been picked up for CLG. So they're really going to try and just like set up these ganks, trying to just be extremely mobile on the map and get an advantage with this. Oink then countering with a Johanna plus the Tacita here. Also an interesting setup. Johanna, a little bit more wave clear, allows them to get good vision over the map as well. And then we headed into the second bans. About to catch up there with Thrall banned out and with the Stitches as well. So it's a little bit interesting to see that Stitches ban. I mean, we have seen already Stitches into Dehaka. It's definitely a chance, but we still have heroes like Muradin, of course, available. So that's another huge pick that we could see on the side of CLG, who head first of all into a Rhaegar and into the Zagara. As mentioned before, and also in the last game, we have AntiHero here joining us for the stream. So yeah, welcome again, Anti, and also welcome to the draft.
I see the Zagara and my heart beats, and I want to see the Chen, but sadly Oink doesn't give me the favor to give me the Chen.
Alright, I mean, you are probably the best known Chen player in Europe, I'd say, at this point. Maybe together with Alex right now, after he picked him up a lot, but you have played that hero a lot longer than Alex, right?
Yeah, I did.
So you get a hipster bonus.
Yeah, my heart, I would have liked to see that hero so much, but yeah, it's only Alex so far. People are gonna realize how strong he is soon, I guess.
So guys, Zagara, of course, a great solo laner here for the top lane. Another one would have been Thrall, but he has already been banned out. And the reason why AntiHero is mentioning the Chen at this point is that Chen is, of course, a great counterpart to Zagara. He's a huge lane bully, and therefore Zagara is always going to find herself in a little bit of trouble when she goes up against the Chen, which oftentimes actually results in Zagara not laning on the solo lane against Chen, but instead going down to the bottom. So, Anti, we actually joined into the draft a bit late, as we already said. We have a Tacita Tirana composition for Oink right now to empower Sonya a bit with the Kalthas behind them, and CLG now with that Muradin lock-in. What do you think about the draft so far? And is there a team that you would give a certain advantage to, considering that Oink has the Kalthas, but then we have a double global for CLG? So I think there's a little bit to talk about here.
On a standard map, I would give it to Oink, but on Shire particularly, with the double global as you mentioned already, and with the strong laner that is Zagara, I quite have to give it to CLG here. They also have like a good tank this time, instead of the solo Stitches like last game, and Oink has a solid draft, but I think for this map particularly that CLG might be a little bit stronger.
I would actually agree with that. Krumbi, thank you very much for that. Thanks, bro. But yeah, like for Shire, I would actually agree with you on this part. I mean, this is looking pretty sick with the mobility that CLG has right now. And the dogs are out again.
Hi Thomas, I want Haunted Minds back. Scone and a bend, knock an Allah.
Okay, that was basically like the attempt of the bot to go into German, and that didn't work. Schönen Abend noch an alle. That's a little bit more like it. But yeah, A for effort, I suppose. We have a pretty sick map ahead of us, guys. So there's massive globals on the side of CLG. We have a cool draft for Oink, but when it comes to map control mobility, it feels like casuals have the edge here. If that's enough to really force game 3, or if we're going to see a 2-0 for Team Oink, that's something we're going to find out together on Shire. Alright everybody, welcome to game number 2. Of course failed a little bit with the score update, but as you can see we're putting that in right now. We have our second game in the best of 3 series between Team Oink and the Casuals. Shire is the map. We have a pretty cool draft that we already went over. To the left side of the map in blue we have Ziku on Tacita, Wolf Joe on Sonya, Mopsy on Johanna, Lunan on the main support with Taronda, and we're seeing Suris on Kelthas. To the right side of the map, Shihu with the Haka. We're having Nika on Zagara, double global with Breaku playing the false set for the team. And CLG is running Leo from Korea again on Rega with Juve actually playing Meridian this time. So pretty sick setup, as already mentioned before. Today casting with AntiHero here. And we have already a slight adjustment in the Haka build with the enhanced agility, which is getting a little bit more common these days actually.
Yeah, it's quite a good pickup on this tank because he's more suited for the mobility and more for the utility than he is for damage or anything. So while the primal aggression, which we usually see on the talent, is pretty good, we see the Haka here in like a rotation. So he doesn't really need the wave clear so much when he already got other heroes here.
Yeah, especially with them running a Zagara, running a Rega for additional wave clear, even on the support. They also have, of course, that false stat, which is once again going into Gathering Power build. And Mopsio is getting actually licked into the 2 towers here. You can't really push them through the gate, right?
No.
That would be pretty sweet.
That would be pretty good.
That would be really awesome if you could like lower the gate, you know, like with a hotkey or something, and then you just like drag them in. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that would also make Citrus players happy, I guess.
Yeah, Dustin, if you're listening, there's an idea right there.
The terror of quick match returns.
Exactly. Gate open, zip, hooked in, gate closed. And you're like, okay, I'm screwed. Don't you miss that a little bit with like Gorge?
Yeah.
I know you hate Gorge, but...
I hate Gorge, yeah. I do quite have the rule that if you take Gorge you will lose, but... I think Gorge was pretty good back then. Back then it could have maybe been something.
It was awesome in the alpha when everybody was just going for the... what's it called? Like, not hungry for more, the 20? Hungry Stitches.
Yeah.
And we saw... who was it back then? Especially the American teams really liked to play that. And where we had sometimes like a quadruple Gorge. Like, that's so much damage.
Yeah, it did double the damage than it does now, so that was quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, for now, as you guys can already see, we have on Rega on level 1 already the Wolf Run, which is a very important talent to take as well. 40% move speed is the same that any other hero gets when it's mounted, so it's actually a pretty fast Rega on the map, especially, of course, since you can instantly change into the Wolf form. In this game now in particular, as we've already said a little bit before, we are having a scenario in which especially the casuals are going to try to abuse the globals that they have on the Haka and also on Falstad, and a bit more hero kill focus on the side of Team Oink, who has still the opportunity to go into Starfall plus Phoenix. Again Shiku with a tongue trying to go for the kill, but of course Mopsio on his Johanna can easily use the Iron Skin to move away.
Yeah, also the double support's quite of helping him there. What I wanted to mention as well, that Nika on top does such a good job on pushing Wolf Joe back and basically has the turret and the shots on 0 already, and is basically enabled due to the Haka having the global pressure. If there might be a gank on her, he might counter gank with his passive, or Falstad could do the same.
Yeah, I actually like on the other hand how we're currently seeing all that vision on the top, but as you already pointed out, even if there's a gank, there's immediate help available, and the vision's not the only problem. Double control on the shrines already, so as expected, the map control, at least in these early stages, goes to the casuals, to CLG, but still a bit of pressure play in the mid lane here, where both of the towers have been eliminated, and give a slight edge in experience also to Team Oink.
We see Tessera and Murden fighting it out on the bottom, but nothing is gonna happen, and top is also not gonna get reclaimed, so the blue team is stuck with trying to defend the middle here, which is kind of pushing them in a bad spot, I would say.
Yeah, they're really committing to the bot lane right now to make sure that that doesn't happen for too long. What do you think we need to really see on the side of Team Oink to, for them to win the game here? We talked a bit about the mobility, that is a huge part of playing on this map in particular. Where do you really see the big strength on the side of Oink, and what is basically what they need to do in this game to be successful and make this a tour victory?
Well, basically mobility is most of the time means that you have less team fighting strength. So I see the favor for Oink in team fighting. We talked about the Starfall Phoenix setup already. So I would like to see Oink getting level 10 first and then try to make something happen, maybe around the easy or hard camp, trying to invade those.
Yeah, Sonya's job, by the way, at the top lane didn't get any easier now that the level 7 talent is finally ready because we have rapid incubation. That Zigara will never have to go even back. So this is a oh wow, nice attempt by Shiku already to go for the kill here. They might actually get Zico. They're currently following him up. Juve is also there, but Lunan is rotating back down, so they're trying to help out. Top lane, gank attempt against Zigara. Suris is there. Huge damage. Falset flying in, but Nika... Oh, that was a close call.
Yeah, but we could see... It was a little bit late by Kreko, but we could see the counter gank potential there by Team CLG. Dehaka didn't have his Brush Stalker ready yet, so it was kinda late with Falset, but Zagara managed to escape in the end.
Yeah, even if Zigara dies in this scenario, then at least they don't lose experience because of Falset being there. But of course, if they have both of the globals ready, they could have even attempted to go for a kill themselves. So right now, really abusing the mobility that they have. We have Zico at the bot lane, trying to make sure that they get all the experience here. He's not really aiming for control of the shrine. Oh ho ho! Attempt to go for Shiku here once again, though. And I mean, especially when we're talking about Kel'Thas, he's such a beast these days. We've seen him with a huge win ratio already at Leicester. We had a 75% win ratio, which is absolutely insane. And there were quite a few teams that haven't really picked up on how strong he is. But right now, with a huge priority in the draft, he's already showcasing once more why he's one of the early picks in nearly every single draft these days. He's at 10,000 damage as we speak about it.
I do think Katie is really strong, but his strength doesn't really come from himself. He needs to be able to survive the team fights, basically enabled this time by having Johanna as a peel tank and then the Tassada and Tyrande behind him.
You're gonna get a hang of it at some point.
Yeah, one day. So they basically enable him doing the damage in the back by securing him with health and the shields. So that's kind of like, oh shit, they engage on the bottom.
Yeah, bot lane with once again that Starfall. There's the 10s, and they use them to take down Falstad. First blood in the game. Juve also low. Great kill by Suris. I have to actually say that Kel'Thas player of Suris is, I like it a lot. Like, he had a huge impact in the last game, and now the same thing. Zico with a nice force wall there. Well done. And maybe the counter kill against Kel'Thas. Really well done here, especially by Shiku, of course, with the Tong going for the lick here. But with nice heals and also the shield, Suris is able to escape.
Yeah, but there you could see Katie dropping on 300 HP due to the isolation, and then one Tassada shield already giving him 700 HP. That's so much. Every 5 seconds, that's why Katie is able to survive those fights against so much CC. We're gonna have to see if some Mighty Gust play will come at some point, because Katie doesn't really have his blink mobility anymore that he used to have. So I think that there are chances for CLG just to use Falstad as an engage tool here against Katie.
Yeah, we could definitely see that. I mean, we have seen, especially when we're looking at our Falstad right now in the mid lane, Kreku has quite some aggressive play with that hero. At the same time now, Isolation, by the way, has been picked up as a level 10. We're seeing Ancestral Healing, the Avatar fight at the bot lane happening again. And there's that Starfall with nice damage output again against both of them. Here comes, on the other hand, Falstad going straight in for the Mighty Gust. Suris is low and down, but already the kill against Muradin. And Dehaka is also eliminated. Double kill against the tank line. They lost, of course, one of their damage dealers, but a very nice experience lead at this point on the side of Team Oink, and they're looking strong, even against a team that has this much mobility.
As we were talking about, the strength and fights of Team Oink is really impressive with Katie and Tyrande at that fight. You basically see the Starfall and the Phoenix on top of each other. Basically, it was the circles were on top of each other, and man, that did some damage against the team of CLG.
It's a total death zone if you get that. Oh, the kill against Sonya, but it was a nice sacrifice. Sonya, of course, like voluntarily staying on the shrine, making sure that she can hold it for long enough so that Mobster gets the Dragonite. Knew from the start that she would probably die, but in this case, hashtag worth it, since Mobster is now starting to move straight into the mid lane. Kreku is moving in too, so they have to be a bit careful here. It's still a 5 versus 4, but they also are in control of that level 13 talent, and that gives even more wave clear to Johanna, who, by the way, on level 4 went straight into the Laws of Hope. Battle momentum too, so massive cooldown reduction on her part. But we are seeing on level 13 now also the Pyromanic being used once again. We're seeing the Mystical Spear. Pretty cool setup here overall for the team in blue, since they now have the opportunity to push straight through the mid lane.
Yeah, we also see the Burning Rage against the Zagara Creep Tumors. They want to get rid of them at some point. Tassada not providing enough because he has a really high cooldown on his trade at the moment. So it's kind of a good pickup here, I think, to deny the vision a lot.
Yeah, and especially the lack of mental acuity that you already pointed out is, of course, important. In this case, they really want to make sure that, especially, of course, Sonya has also the option to benefit from the Leeching Plasma as a level 4 talent, so no cooldown reduction in this case. And as you pointed out, with Zagara giving them so much trouble up at the top lane, Burning Rage, not only great for the wave clear, but also to take down the Creep Tumor, so that's going to be an important part. 13 talents, by the way, for both of the teams right now, which gives us the Ferocious Stalker taken on the side of the Haka. We're also seeing the Earth Shield, which is going to make it a little bit easier for Rega to get those heals out in time. Giant Killer also now taken on Falstad. And we have Burning Rage also for Murden. It's a ton of AoE damage still that we're seeing for Oink, and it's going to be really interesting to see how exactly the teamfight potential of Oink is going to measure up against the mobility in the late game. Because especially when we're having level 20 and Kreko picks up his epic mount, then it's going to be really, really tricky to stay in control of these shrines long enough to pick up another Dragon Knight for Oink.
Well, if Epic Mount wasn't enough, we also have the Apex Predator, right? So
yeah,
that's kind of insane value for the map rotations.
Good point there.
Yeah, also Shiho going for the Ferocious Stalker here on level 13, it kind of points out the way of how CLG want to play this game. They kind of want to make it happen with the Haka and Fawcett trying to make plays with ganks.
Especially since they also went into the enhanced agility on level 1, so those talents are really nice together. You have the increased movement speed with Brush Stalker, and then you have also increased movement speed, as is thanks to the stacking process. You, of course, give up your mini-relentless, so to say, on level 13, but in this case we have a couple of stuns on the side of Oink, but it's not too crazy yet. Also, same amount of experience, roughly on the board for the two teams. Slight edge still for Oink, but the teams should actually hit level 16 roughly around the same time.
And we do have to think about that the structure lead of Team Oink is kind of giving the little bit XP lead we see here. But over the course of the game, I think that CLG will have more XP in total due to their global soak again.
Yeah, and that's going to be pretty important for Oink to somehow mitigate. If they can get a few kills, they might be capitalizing on that. But we have 4 kills against 2. Here comes the 16, a little bit sooner for them, as already expected. Bot Shrine is under control of Team Casual Logic Gaming, though. And at the top lane, Wolfjaw now in position to at least steal one of them away. A bit late on the 16 picks now, too. We're seeing Ranger taken and Kalthas going straight through the Living Bomb with the Sun King's Fury. Double imposing presence now taken for the front line, and the Dimensional Warp, of course, on the side of Tassadar. Frostad flies in, they're trying to go for a kill here, but Kreko is a bit too late to the party to really capitalize on it.
Yeah, the engage didn't really work out too well. Kreko didn't fly behind him, and there's Sonya coming in from the side.
Yeah, Sonya's starting to move in, trying to maybe get a kill here. Not quite happening yet. Here's the Force Wall once again. More against 2. So far successful. And there's the Starfall and the kill against Kalthas. Kalthas isolated and taken down. That's a lot of damage all of a sudden missing for Oink. The drag against Mopsio. Well played, and the double kill that they were hoping for. So yeah, CLG actually starting to really not only come back into this game, but establishing a very solid lead for themselves.
Yeah, Zico with a nice force wall play there actually, but then the Maw of Nika basically secured the 2 counter kills there. Pretty nice Maw in return.
Shire at the top lane now, of course, also immediately taking position and is now trying to give his team the first Dragon Knight. The Owl can cancel that out, maybe, but it's already too late. Would have missed anyway, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it would have hit since he got the upgrade on level 16.
Yeah, so at this point we're having actually the first wall go, or another wall in the mid lane going down, but that's exactly the momentum that the red team was hoping for. So they really start to capitalize a lot on the hero composition that they have here, and it's going to be a bit difficult for Suris and his boys to make this happen right now, but still the shields on Tassadar giving Kalthas a little bit more safety. 16 versus 17 is roughly a level lead that we're currently seeing for CLG.
Yeah, and I think we're only gonna see it expand further towards the late game, and with the level 20 advantage, I'm kind of guessing CLG might get, maybe level 19 versus 20. With their talents like Epic Mount and Apex Predator, they will get a lot of value to engage on KT from bushes or from anywhere with all set flight.
I mean, the crazy thing is really that if with this comp you are able to get a kill, you are immediately all over the map trying to secure yourselves a few shrines and the Dragon Knight. You have Epic Mount, you can jump around like a bunny on speed. You have the Haka who can just like teleport on the more or less on the other side of the map. So they are really trying to set up that gank potential. One of the problems that they're also going to run in with is that I mean, we talk a lot about the globals, but especially towards the late game, one of the things where you can really capitalize on it is one hero just like trying to clear the waves in the lane, push that back against structures, and then still join the team fight at the bottom of the map. The risk that you run with this is that you have your heroes spread out all over the place. So if you're not careful and if you don't watch where your opponent is positioned with his entire team, you could get ganked. So that's definitely something where CLG has to be very cautious how they move on the map.
Yeah, as we can see now, the Haka on the top, pushing the hard camp of the blue team, getting his own hard camp, and we will see the hard camp of the red side getting more value than the blue one, and maybe even in the end taking down the fort.
Yeah, bot lane fort on the other hand has been taken out by the push that we saw on the side of Team Oink, and well, the Haka eventually will have to move down here. Juve is already in the brush right there, so he's waiting for the Haka to come in too if they... Yeah, but Oink is actually not committing to
Yeah,
this.
Oink needs to do one decision now. Do they want to fight now or do they want to soak for 20? It looks like they want to soak for 20 because that might have been their last chance to fight. Maybe going greedy for the keep wall, trying to bait the opponents into a fight. But now they kind of decided to go back, play it safe, go for the 20s. But I don't think it's gonna be better for them at level 20.
Yeah, no, one of the problems that they have is that the Dragon Knight is also spawning soon. I mean, they can still soak the wave at the top, that's nice, but it's not going to be enough to catch up. Level 20 has now hit on the side of their opponent, and that gives us no Apex Predator, by the way. It's the Hardened Shield instead, so only one of the heroes goes into the global there. We are seeing the Epic Mount for Tacit as expected, Bolt of the Storm for Zagara, Rewind, plus also the second Hardened Shield for Muradin. And now the attempt to go for the Dragon Knight, and that's the question. How do you deal with this? Do you have enough time to soak? We have good interrupts with the Owl and also, of course, with Tacita, but they might not be able to deny it, and they don't. They use the Dragon Knight, CLG that is, and that is definitely going to be at least another fort that falls.
Yeah, but Team Oink is also close to 20. They did a great job on soaking, taking also camps before that to get the maximum EXP. And I don't think that CLG is gonna get so much here, but I think they maybe get the wall. But you also have to still care for the Starfall and the Phoenix. If they run into that concave when they take down the wall here, it might have been a mistake at that point.
It's actually like a really good point that you make. With the abilities that they have, they can zone them out quite nicely, and they can really make sure that the keeps are not going to be threatened just yet. So forts is the only thing that they really try to capitalize on. They open up a couple of paths, but they can't really capitalize on the 20, CLG that is, in a way that they eliminate a keep, and that is a bit of an issue. Now we have 20 versus 20, and at least when we're talking about Kel'Thas, that of course supplies a lot of extra damage right now. We have also a double Storm Shield here on the side of Tyrande, and also for, in this case, Tacita. No Celestial Wrath, and we have Rebirth for the Phoenix. So the fight has already started. That's the moment where we could once again see the Starfall, but Juve jumps out. Camp is still stolen away though.
Yeah, this position was basically one of the best positions Oink could have taken to fight. It's a really tight spot where Phoenix and Starfall get a lot of value. I'm kind of surprised that we don't see the Celestial Wrath here, because I think that kind of plays into their composition, maybe even the Rewind. I didn't expect Storm Shield, and Rebirth is a pickup we quite often see rise in Korea, and we also saw that Leicester played by Mena. So even though it's a bit newer, I think it's still a really good pickup here, especially with Starfall again to have the longer duration.
Wow, that protection by Kreku at the top lane, by the way. Shihu was more or less dead, and then Kreku flies in with a Mighty Gust. And that was sorely needed right there. Once again, we have the engage. They're all starting to move in. There's a couple of walls to be taken. They're trying to drop some damage on the structures here. But Oink is really poking as much as they can. The problem is that the bot lane is being attacked right now, and that's pressure against the potential keep. So Oink will have to react to that.
Yeah, but now we have the two globals at the top. They have two people who can interrupt the recalls, and basically, meanwhile, Team CLG is getting one turret at the bottom.
Yeah, so they don't really get much more than that, but the problem is still these keeps. So the more they are exposed, the worse the situation for Oink. And that's really that abuse of the globals and also the vision on the map that we see. I mean, even with Burning Rage taken on the side of Johanna, we have Nika with very decent vision for his team, thanks to all these creep tumors.
I think that CLG maybe should have pushed the advantage a little bit more, playing on the interrupts on the recalls or half zones. So I think maybe the wall entirely on the bottom should have died here, but they play it safe, and I think that's a fine decision considering the Dragon Knight is up now and they can play with their global strength again.
Yeah, what definitely Oink is going to try and do is force a team fight here at some point. For now, they have a bit of push going on at the top lane. But with all the mobility that we see, we could actually have CLG again try to go for the push. And that's what they're doing. They're at the bot lane right now. They're trying to break through the wall. And that is going to force a beat back eventually. And once that happens, there's another shrine at the top lane that can be taken. And then with the mobility on Falstad, they can just simply go into the middle and try and snipe the Dragon Knight. They have to be careful down here, though.
Oh, that position is kind of scary.
Yeah, that is a 4 versus 5, and they are basically trapped here.
And the Dragon Knight could be capped now by Zico here, but the Mighty Gust is coming.
Oh, Nika rushing through those 2 AoEs. Nika actually isolated, has to use the Bolt of the Storm. Dehaka is capping the top shrine now, but that was a scary moment here on their part. Oh, nice! Shiro actually moving in, going for the Tom, trying to use it. A quad more is being used, and they're going in with all the damage that they have. The insta-kill against Kel'Thas. Tyrande about to fall too. That's the double kill. CLG with some amazing plays. A good Ancestral on Kreku as he's trying to barrel roll away. Mopsio is about to die. Great synergy, then that more on Nika. Oh my god, that was beautiful.
That was kind of next level baiting himself to be low HP and then getting the 4-man more. That was kind of the game-winning play here. Getting the Dragon Knight now, the bottom keep is exposed, 3 people are dead, long death timers. I think they could maybe go for core here.
Yeah, I mean, they have damage enough. If they kill Wolfjaw now too, that would of course be great. Here comes Kreku with a bit of a bunny hop move. Not long enough to use the Mighty Gust again. Wasn't off cooldown anyways. Wolfjaw is low, gets gusted now, and is trying to escape, but the Dragon Knight shows no mercy. Goes straight into the mid lane, takes the keep here, and is aiming for core. Still 12 seconds on Kel'Thas, and there's absolutely no way for Team Oink to deny that kill. Really well played here by CLG. The punt against Johanna, or no, against Sonya actually, but it doesn't really matter. It's the core, and therefore we have a third game between Oink and CLG. Well played by the red team here. They win Dragon Shire, and we're going to head straight into map number 3 in the best of 3 series. Alright everybody, game number 3 has now started, so we have a tie in the series. Oink with very nice play on level, actually on the first map and on the second map, but at least on the second map, the mobility that we have for CLG was just a bit too strong. Sky Temple is the map now, and of course, once again, mobility is going to reign supreme here. We could see a bit of a battle happening over Dehaka and also Falstad. First thing that's happening, though, is CLG banning out Illidan again.
Yeah, as we already mentioned, I think Oink should really ban out Dehaka here. We talked about that already. Shiro with quite a good performance on Dehaka.
And Alex the Pro G with a resub for 12 months. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for that. Yeah, he would probably pick Chen. But we have Falstad actually. Yeah, Chen first pick.
Oh, and then we see Katie hovered over, swapped to Dehaka. I think Dehaka getting picked here. Quite a good pickup, as we already spoke about on that map. Maybe Oink counting on that and trying to go into Katie themselves here, but banning out the Falstad basically negates their value on getting another global hero. Maybe they look for Vikings if they already banned Falstad out.
What do you think about ETC again? They used ETC actually on the first map with his stage dive to get a bit of global mobility. Do you feel like that's an option for them to try and counteract Dehaka?
I think they could have already went again into the murder and ETC here. About stage dive again, as we already mentioned.
But don't they give up Kel'Thas in that case?
Yeah, it would be really hard to give up KT, but ETC with stage dive can already get behind the backline without any problem whatsoever. So I like the pick of Tyranny KT. It's really strong on that map. We already talked about it in the last draft, that it was kind of the composition where people used to go for on this map in particular, with maybe Reyna as well. But yeah, it kind of leaves open the Muradin to CLG now to get picked up, and maybe they could ban out the ETC to deny the good tanks.
Would actually be a solid move. I mean, especially when we're talking about heroes like not only Muradin but also ETC. It's of course like the huge CC tanks with all these stuns that we have. It's interesting to see that CLG is immediately heading into the Thrall on the other hand. They are a little bit afraid that we're going to see that ban game again, where one team bans out Sonya, the other one bans out Thrall, so they pick him up early and let the tank line go for now. With this setup, I could have even seen them go into Tacita over the Li Ming in this case, just to try and empower Thrall a little bit more. Also, to a certain extent, at least, pick it away from Tyrande. Kezu, thank you very much for the sub, my friend. Very much appreciated. But, well, for now we have Li Ming for poke damage, and we're going to head into the bans, where I think CLG is probably going to look at a Sonya ban right now, right?
I do think that Oink could also get away with picking like Stitches and Muradin.
Mhm.
Trying to get like a double frontline with Katie. You also have to think about Putrid Ball is pretty good on this map as well. Consider that with Starfall and the Phoenix, that's like triple value heroics that you can get. I think that's quite, and it's also on like 80-second cooldown in total, with Tyrande being the highest. So, so yeah, I think they should look forward to maybe get Stitches and Muradin. Looking at ETC ban, I would definitely pick Muradin and Stitches here.
Would you maybe like go into a Sonya now too, because she's still open? You could pick Murder and
Yeah.
Sonya into this as well, and even add, if you wanted to, the Tacita.
You have to think about the solo lane though. Who do you put on solo
Good
lane?
point.
If you put Sonya on the solo lane, she's gonna lose versus Thrall eventually.
Yeah.
It's not that this map is so heavy on laning phase, it's more like to 1-4. But it's still something you have to consider.
I need to change that sound finally. Bernie, thank you very much, dude. Dogs are out again, and so is Muradin, by the way, who has just been picked up. So let's see what they're going to pick with that.
Oh, we hey Khaldor, we ho Khaldor Freund de Sein Duik
Wait,
de
what?
Kundung Khaldor on Sen. Crew.
Somebody's watching too much.
We hey
What?
Khaldor. Oh, we ho Khaldor Freund de Sein Duik de Kundung Khaldor on Sen. Crew.
Wait, what? Alright, so apparently we have a double there. Sylvanas, by the way, picked. We have to talk about that in a moment. But yeah, Bernie and Gravesville, thanks for that. The draft snipe is real right
What
now.
do pigs put on a burn? Oink meant.
There was,
That's the worst pun that I've
yeah,
heard
I
in a
mean,
long
I
time.
did a quite bad pun earlier, but man, that takes the cake, I think.
Yeah, I thought the anti pun was bad, but that's worse. Okay, coming back to the draft now, Anti, on the other hand. We talked about the ETC ban, actually quite nice ban here. They're trying to limit the options a little bit when it comes to the CC tanks. Oink, of course, already planned to go into the Muradin. He suggested that also them going into a Stitches might even be a good choice, since they have a lot of CC with Kalthas, Tyrande, Muradin, plus the Stitches then even. In this case, they went for Sylvanas. How much do you like that pick?
I do have to say, I don't like it quite so much on this map. Like, you can push with Sylvanas in the early game, like getting a turret or two. Maybe even secure yourself like something more than that. But overall, it doesn't make too much sense against CLG's composition. It does silence the Li Ming. That might be one thing. But she's also very vulnerable to a Thrall.
I have to admit that I kinda... Leviathan, thank you very much for the sub, dude. I have to say that I like the Malfurion pick on the other hand. And we have with Malfurion, I mean, what do you really go for? Rhaegar's already banned out. He would have been a great choice here for CLG. In this case, when you talk about heals, Malfurion probably the healer that provides you with the best utility against the Kalthas, don't you think?
Monk is also open. I could have seen them going into the Monk. The problem about Malfurion here, if he does indeed get stun locked, that might be a big problem for CLG. But Malfurion is also pretty good against Sylvanas. If the silence arrow flies in, you just use the heal over time effects.
Alright, the draft trolling is really starting again. Boys, thanks for that, but yeah. I have no idea. Tyler, I don't
My
get the second
favorite
part.
hot stream. Really enjoy your draft analysis.
Well, thanks for that. I have great help here today with AntiHero. I don't think I pointed out in this draft, of course. Like this time not Thatcher, not quite as British. I needed a little bit of German. Uther actually.
think Uther
German
makes
reinforcements. That's what I needed here. But yeah, Uther actually, like, yeah, you're right. It actually makes sense for them. I mean, they could have thought about it, Tacita, I suppose, but Tacita doesn't really give you as much value as it did in the last game, where they could support a Sonya with it.
Yeah, the stun lock against Thrall or against Malfurion, even if it's only a Uta stun, maybe Divine Storm, I'm not gonna promise anything here, would also get quite the value against triple melee. So, that might be something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
guys, sorry.
Yeah, so go ahead, sorry.
I was just like trying to sum it up a little bit. So we have in this case even a switch around for Brightwing.
Oh, interesting.
Brightwing feels a little bit like a counter to Dehaka. What do you think?
Yeah, quite of going for the global play here. And they don't need quite as much healing because they already got the Tyrande, so that might be a good pick in my opinion here.
I actually like the draft quite a bit. I mean, like, we are starting with Team Oink with the Kalthas and Tyrande, so that's a lot of AoE damage once again. Bit of a counter pick here with the Malfurion, trying to use his Tranquility to make up for that death zone that's going to be created with the Phoenix and also with the Starfall. Malfurion, of course, having still a couple of problems here, but so far Leo played really solid games. I like the Brightwing pick. Uther would have been a great choice for them too, but with the Haka on the side of CLG, the thought process here is, of course, to try and counteract a little bit the global, just like the global presence of the Haka. CLG with a very nice draft on the other hand, with the Haka having that global presence, they have a bit of stuns on their end, they can use the Tenacious Roots, then maybe even later on Stitches for the hooks. But Oink also with Muradin with a very good frontliner. I mean, AntiHero looking at the draft right now, considering it's Sky Temple, is that a team where you would say, okay, they have a definite edge?
I would say Oink looks more solid to me, like again, this time. They have a global, they have quite of the Starfall Phoenix composition, and they quite of also have a stun lock. The Sylvanas looks a bit random to me.
Yeah, she does kind of, doesn't she?
But yeah, but besides that, I like Oink's setup a lot. They kind of have in my opinion, one of the best tanks and one of the best damage dealers. Looking at CLG, they have the Haka, they have Thrall, they have Li Ming, that's pretty good. But together it doesn't really make too much sense, but it can work out with, again, the Haka global play and the Li Ming resets.
Well, guys, so we're going to jump into the third game. One team is going to advance to the winner's match. Keep in mind that we have in the bracket actually also a loser bracket, so it's a double elimination system. Guys, thanks for the resubs. It's very much appreciated. Rosie Roars and Yagya. I'm completely butchering that name, I suppose. But, guys, we're going to head into Sky Temple, our third map in the best of 3 series. Game number 3, everybody. The map is, of course, Sky Temple, and we are looking at the third game between Team Oink and the Casuals. Currently to the left side, Ziku on Tyrande. We're having Wolf Joe on Sylvanas. We see Mopsio on Muradin. Surius on Kalthas again, and Lunan is playing Brightwing. So double support here for the blue team. And to the right side, we're currently seeing Shihu on Thrall for the Casuals. We're having Nika on Li Ming, Leo from Poland on Malfurion, Kreku on Stitches, and Juf on De Haka. So a bit of global presence for both of the teams here. Game number 3 is going to determine which team advances to face the Evil Murkies in the next match, in the winner, actually like in the winner bracket final, exactly. And we still have a loser bracket here, so even that losing team will have another chance to qualify for the Last Chance Qualifier for Dreamhack Tours. Yeah, there's a lot of qualifiers happening right now. With me is, of course, once again, AntiHero, and we're going to double check which team is going to make it to the winner bracket final.
Yeah, we already see Leo on Malfir, and it's one of his favorite supports, I would say. I always remember Leo for playing Malfir. Already the push at the top, though.
Yeah, push at the top with Sylvanas, trying to get some pressure in, but so we see the roots here, and they have to disengage. When it comes to the talents, on the other hand, we have the overflowing Quiver taken on the side of Sylvanas. We're seeing Brightwing with the unfurling spray. Now, that is an interesting pick. What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of interesting. I haven't seen that one myself. I think people tried it at the start and then went more to the teleport build. But I like it for this map because the fights on the temples are kind of like a bit more spread out, and you maybe could use the range there.
Yeah, Moonburn taken on level 1 from Malfurion. Shihu in a bit of trouble, gets away though. Nice, able to dodge the stun and the gank there. Well done, not dying. We have on level 1 also Primal Aggression taken for De Haka. We've seen a few of different attempts earlier. I like the rotation aggression that we see coming out of Team Oink. They take down the tower to the bot lane, they give up a bit of presence up at the top, but now that the temples are about to be activated, they're of course once again making their way up to the mid and the top lane, with Brightwing still taking the lane against Thrall so that she can just simply teleport in if need be.
Yeah, Brightwing isn't that bad of a laner against Thrall because she does have her self-sustain. She has quite some damage and she does have her Q to deep-push some waves.
Yeah, there was actually a time when Brightwing, if I'm not mistaken, did double heal on herself, which was the time where you could not win a lane against her. You could not, like there were scenarios where you could make sure that you didn't lose the lane, but still that heal allowed her to just like stay on lane forever. Nice hook there on Kreku. The problem is that they lost Kalthas, Suris at the top, so that's a bit of a problem, especially since Nika and Leo are starting to use that freedom at the top lane now to push the fort down.
Yeah, and they already get a fort. Sometimes getting the fort that early isn't that great because sometimes the minions just push into the enemy territory and you cannot really soak it. But with the Haka on their team, it's not that much of a problem.
Level 4 talents also with Rampant Growth taken, so no Loon's Grace on the side of Malfurion. Now doesn't go for the increased range, which we could definitely have seen. Hero Stalker as well now. There's actually a bit of a focus on Hero Stalker in the last few games, so you get a bit more essence, especially when you are participating in a lot of fights and you are participating in takedowns. Then you get that reset on the, so to say, like health potion that you have on the hero. We have at the same time for Brightwing the Manic Pixie taken as the level 4 talent. Still Q focus with the Withering Barrage on the side of Sylvanas. Tyrande, no surprises here, going for the cooldown reduction build with the Owl, which is of course at the same time also a bit of a damage build. Attempt to go for the camp. Nice. Mopsio actually taking it. I feel like Shihu could have moved in to claim it, but Shihu is actually the one falling here. Thrall goes down, Mopsio moves away, and what started off as an attempt to steal a camp and get a kill actually turned against Casual Logic Gaming.
Yeah, but there you could see polymorphing the Thrall, kind of negating his ability to just spam his Q to maybe get another heal off, or using his auto attacks. Is really good against almost every melee assassin, and it showed there as well.
Like it felt for a second like Thrall could have simply walked onto the capture point, right?
Yeah, for a second, and then the polymorph hit and he couldn't heal himself or sustain himself at all.
Level 7 Unstable Poison taken for Sylvanas. Mopsio living alive on Razor's Edge there. Nice cleanse. So actually Lunan going for a cleanse on his level 7 talent. Do you actually think that this is what really triggered his build? That he looked at the setup of the opponent and said like, guys, against the Root, against like Thrall, against the Hook and also the Haka, I need a cleanse, and then just said, okay, if I go cleanse in the first place and can't go for my shield build, then I make the adjustment on level 1 and go for the range on the soothingness.
I think that most of the times you take the shielded when you have kind of a strong melee assassin, so you can jump on him, give him that like kind of extra 500 HP. Like doing that with Illidan was quite popular at some point. So I don't think they have like a hero which they really need to shield here, because they also have like a double support setup. So going for a little bit more utility against the pre-cleanse against the Hook is kind of a good option.
Yeah, I really like it. So a utility Brightwing play here. I mean, kids don't do this at home, especially not if you're a solo healer for your team in Hero League. So this is definitely a double support setup that we are seeing here for them. But Team Oink looking pretty strong there. We're having again on level 7, by the way, Seeker taken. Fight happening at the bot lane. Hook hitting once again. Surus in trouble. And he's down. Surus eliminated. Mopsio jumping out. And CLG doing really good work here and claiming another shrines. Like just barely surviving with the Juve on the Haka here.
You could see the polymorph after Li Ming got her resets just to deny like another pickup, which was pretty nice play by Lunan. But also you could see the Bruff Stalker again coming to great effect. The Haka burrowing all the way from the top to the bottom, kind of making that work for them again in this game.
Yeah, of course we have a lot of experience to be picked up at the top lane where that camp was still pushing in, but the problem still remains with the temple soaked at the bottom of the map. There's nearly a level 10 on the board for CLG, and that is a huge problem. But at least they were able to close that gap a little bit. Mirrodin, on the other hand, is extremely low, and the kill before Brightwing could move in. Very nice use of Juve's Global once again, starting to jump up to the top. And that is now level 10 for them. So Tranquility, Isolation, Puric Bile, and we have, of course, also Thrall now with a Sundering. So yeah, disintegrate for Li Ming as expected, and that's a very solid setup, but the level 10 is finally ready as well for Team Oink, and that gives them now the opportunity to use all of their AoE abilities on shrine fights.
Yeah, I do like the pickup on Malphir with the Tranquility, kinda counteracting against the Phoenix and the Starfall. And considering the Veiling Arrow, it's kind of the minigame Malphir Sylvanas here again. If you see the Veiling Arrow flying towards you as Malfurion, you might want to pre-use every single ability you have, because you don't really have low cooldowns, and the kill against Thrall in the mid lane.
Yeah, Thrall down, and also maybe the kill against, yes, Malfurion is dead. Kraker with a hook against Sylvanas. The drag attempt by Juve, but Starfall used a lot of damage dished out against the Haka. We have also Emerald Wind chosen, by the way, so not going into the blink heal. So really full utility Brightwing play for Team Oink.
I like it a lot actually. I don't think that Emerald Wind was that good. Oh, the Sunlock against the Haka in the middle.
Yeah, the Haka, and taken out. The Burrow didn't really help him too much. And of course, one of the crazy things about having a Sylvanas on your team is that whenever you gain some momentum and you get a couple of kills, you can just like push structures down and just obliterate everything on a lane.
Yeah, being ahead with Sylvanas is kind of the greatest feeling you can have, but being behind with her, you sometimes lag a little bit of damage. So as long as you're even, Sylvanas is okay, but if you're falling behind, you might you might have wanted another hero than her.
Yeah, well, for now they are slightly ahead, and again we're having temples coming up, but both of the teams are back on the map in full force. We are heading into level 13 soon enough, for now they are closing in on 12, but it looks like an even split on temples. Top has been taken now on the side of Team Oink, and at the bot lane we're seeing a bit of pressure play from their opponents. So yeah, CLG, even with a push against the fort, trying to get a bit more value out of that temple. Same is happening up to the top lane now, where Wolf, Joe, and Suris are going to try and take the initiative with Sylvanas.
Yeah, I do like the rotation from CLG towards the middle. They see that some guys are on the shrine in the middle and some people are pushing on the top, so they kind of try to push the fort manually in the middle and try to not use as many shots as they might have used to get it.
Yeah, they get pretty nice value out of it, and they have eliminated all of the forts already, which is of course a huge advantage for them. 13 hits at the same time for both of the teams here. Thrall trying to go into a bit more of a passive play with his spell shield. Then again, we're seeing also Enduring Growth plus Life Seed taken from
Burrow at the
Malfurion.
top against Brightwing.
Yeah, Brightwing also in a bit of trouble there, trying to get away. Silence too, thanks to the isolation.
That deny on the Emerald win. Pretty good play by Juve there.
Yeah, like the isolation actually did a lot in this case. And I mean, right now we have still for Sylvanas, by the way, the panic button going into the Will of the Forsaken here. Repositioning possible for Tyrande now in these fights thanks to the sprint. And overall, just like a very... I really like the build for Malfurion, because it basically says that, like Leo is basically saying, yeah, I'm better than all of you. My positioning is going to be crazy good, and I'm going to give a huge amount of value to my team. He has no ice block, there's no cleanse or anything, so it's mass heals for Malfurion from here on out.
Yeah, he does have to care that he doesn't get stunlocked by the Mirror Tyrande setup here.
Definitely.
So, if he positions himself well, that's kind of the best build you can go for on Malf, but sometimes you might have like a little bit of a struggle in a teamfight to find the right position here. So it's all up to Leo to keep his teammates alive.
He needs to really play super safe with this one. And it's definitely not going to be easy for him. As you already pointed out, that Muradin is going to be a huge threat to him. The Tyrande too. There's stunlock available with Kel'Thas as well, just like dropping in a polymorph on top of that as well. So there's quite a lot that they can do. Shihu is actually running straight into these bad boys down here. They're still trying to go for the kill though against Craig, who is starting to stun, but the Sundering is too good. Suris is down and so is Tyrande. Never lucky.
Wow, that flank by Shihu was insane. The Sundering basically knocking two people towards his own team, knocking them down to like 50% of HP, and basically he would have secured those on his own, but the team doing him the favor of taking them down. And then the kill against Sylvanas as well by Juve with the isolation.
I mean, I like the idea originally of them to move in and go for that kill. The problem is, after they saw Thrall in this position, it felt to me like they should really have abandoned the idea of going for that flank, because as you could see here, the big problem that basically happened is Thrall saw all of them, moved back and said like, yeah, I'm not going to walk into this. They still committed to that flank, and all of a sudden there's a Sundering that destroys them completely.
Yeah, and we do have to think about Emerald Wind here. They don't have the blink heal, so it's kind of and they also don't have the ice block on Brightwing, so they could also try to one-shot Brightwing in such cases.
Yeah, so for now we are having, in this case on level 16, we have the elongated tongue. We are seeing Fishing Hook, the Tenacious Roots. We're having also the Tempest Fury taken. Doesn't really get as much value against Muradin as you would get with a Giant Killer. But especially when we're talking Kreko and his hooks, he's doing solid work here. I mean, Suris is having a pretty difficult time staying alive in these fights.
Yeah, Nika trying to follow that up with his orb and his Q. He barely missed his Q. If that would have hit, it would have been a takedown. So almost killed Katie there with that hook. That was a pretty nice hook. So now we see the keep at the top getting quite low. It's not getting taken down right now, but the next temple or next camp or whatever could basically kill it in the end.
I feel one of the things that you can really see at this point is that we have definitely a bit more of experience on the side of CLG right now. It's pretty tricky for Team Oink. I mean, that last fight that we saw, they overcommitted slightly and then they lost quite a few heroes. Now there's momentum, of course, going for CLG as well. Do you feel that with the setup that they have here, it's going... I mean, we talked about Sylvanas, for example, that it's going to be a bit rough coming back when you are behind with her. Do you feel this is exactly the case right now, or do you think that with 16 versus 16 talents in a few seconds, we still have a good shot for them to go into a fight, take the kills there, and then just like reset the entire score?
I still think they have quite a bit of chances to win. We talked about Malf not having escape tools this game, so I think with a nice stunlock setup, they could take someone down really easily. Maybe Shihu or Leo at the top, but the hook.
Mopsio this time only hit. Kreku being attacked right now. Has to move back. Putrid Ball already used. Mopsio still in cooldown on his jump. Has a problem here. Needs to go into Avatar. And also there comes the Sundering again. What a great flank by Thrall once more. Brightwing down. Surus has no chance of escape here. Shihu is really doing a lot for his team in these fights. But they still lose Li Ming. And they might lose also Thrall now. Nice counter kills for the team in blue. But they're still extremely low on Mopsio. And Ziku is also not looking too healthy here. Here comes that chase. Mopsio with a good stun, but can he really get out of this one? It doesn't look like it. And the hook once again hitting really nicely. But we have Wolfjo heading into a wall, but still able to escape.
Yeah, it looked almost as if Casual Logic Gaming could basically take the ace in the fight, or the 5-man kill. But in the end, it was kind of messy, played by Shiru, who initially did a really great job again on his Sundering, coming from the side. Basically the MVP for now in this game. And yeah, it was kind of like a messy fight in the end, and they lost 2 people, not playing coordinated enough to get the heals from Leo. And it's still a good trade for CLG, but a worse one which they could have had.
I mean, it felt a little bit like after they hit this great Sundering on Thrall that they just thought, alright, this is an easy win right now, we have 2 killed. And as you said, like, it was a bit of a problem just like having the sustain in the fight and letting Malf do his job. So they were maybe a bit over-eager. Lost a few heroes in the end, but overall still a huge win, of course, for Team Casual Logic Gaming. They get a few of the shots here in the middle, all of the shots at the bottom where we have Kreku position, but it's really that experience leader is a huge problem now for the team in blue, for Team Oink, because yeah, level 20 is just going to hit a lot earlier, a lot sooner on the side of Casual Logic Gaming in this match.
Yeah, we do see the first keep of the game getting taken down, and it's quite a big lead actually for CLG in the structures. They're looking forward to level 20 now. They should just wait a little bit, maybe like get to 20, then look for a fight, kind of waiting or turtling in their own base so nothing happens. Maybe take the hard cam, not over committing too much.
Yeah, Ludan is of course trying to get some experience for his team, always split from the rest thanks to his globals, which is going to be really important for them. But they are currently 1.5 levels behind, and that is going to become a huge problem. Nice owls here once again to supply some vision to the blue team. Oink is doing a solid job with that. Sylvanas, by the way, went into Remorseless as her level 16 talent. We're seeing for Kalthas again Sun King's Fury taken and Pyromanic on levels 13. Greater Polymorph can help in these fights, of course, too. But for now, the big problem is that level 20 talent, the Storm talents for CLG. So the name of the game at this point for Team Oink is just like soak experience and try to catch up in talents.
We see the blue team moving towards the bottom, maybe trying to get a pickup on Juve, or maybe only pushing the structure. We kind of have to think about Sylvanas here using her trait and kind of disabling the turrets here. But the red team putting only Shihu against the keep and Lunan, so maybe try to trade this.
I actually like the decision here quite a bit. I mean, they had the vision of all of the heroes at the top lane, and they basically said that with Sylvanas and also Kel'Thas, with the Tyrande there, they can push fast enough through the keep, so they could even go for a bit of a trade. And they forced, in this case, the casuals back, so all of a sudden, we have only half a level that they have to bridge until they reach their own Storm Talents.
I do believe if the casuals would have just stick to their plan and 5-man the top keep, they would have forced the... Oh, there's a pick on Shifu maybe? Oh, he blinks out. They would have maybe forced the enemy team to go back before they would have gotten anything.
Oh, so. Hook again. Emerald Wind had to be used already, but Bright, like, once again, Shihu goes in for the flank, waits for Brightwing to try and move back here. There's the kill. One of the healers already down, and this is a disaster right now for Oink. Casual Logic Gaming, they have a 5 versus 4 situation on the map. They have an extra talent. There's 2 of the temples active. And one of the keeps already eliminated at the bot lane. And this double objective is definitely going to secure another keep kill right now. So the situation is absolutely fantastic now for the red team.
Yeah, the problem being now that both keeps will fall. The core will take damage. So I would like to see Oink maybe get the 20 fast and then make something happen. 4 versus 5 or not. They should just try to get on some temple, maybe one-shot one guy, as long as one guy is getting the top temple. So they kind of had to do something now or never.
Yeah, well, they kill Thrall. That's a great start. Celestial Wrath is also there. Surus, on the other hand, is extremely low. Burrow had to be used on the Haka. Kreku is also starting to take quite a bit of damage, but Mopsio is solo that he can't do anything about it. Surus again being hooked. It's really not his day. Gets the Phoenix in and the kill against Stitches. So even after the hook, he's able to make something happen for his team. Yet nice double stun. And oh my god, Oink! All of a sudden, can they pick up the kill against Juve? Doesn't look like they can. Maybe! Wolfjoe is there, secures it. And they lost hit points, as he said, on the core. They're down to 81%, but that was the best situation for them ever. They engaged into a 4 versus 5, and they got 3 kills out of it.
Yeah, as we said, they needed to make something happen. They did quite a nice job how they did it. Now they cannot wait. The top temple is up, minions pushing their base, they have to do something, they get boss, try to finish with it. There's no point in waiting and trying to get another fight, because the enemy team will just dodge you all the time and try to get shots on the temple, or you can go core. And we see Nika sneaking around the enemy core.
Yeah, a problem is that they have to really secure some of the shots at the top here, because, well, that core is already low, and there's massive waves moving in. Also, Li Ming is on the way too. They need to send someone back. They're trying to go for the kill against Leo, and they're going to get that eventually. But look at that temple, or at that core. Core is too low. Nika is there. Catapults everywhere. Nika is really low. Nika is down 25% on the core, though. The catapults are being eliminated. The top shots are being taken on the temple. The boss, on the other hand, went to the bot lane, went through the wall, but didn't really do too much yet. They need to make a play right now. As you already said, Anti, if they don't go in now, they will definitely lose this game to a backdoor.
Yeah, so basically the minions streaming into the middle again, 2 catapults, maybe 3 soon, and then you see Thrall. He has the blink, he has the sundering. He can basically take Sylvanas out and then go for the core, or at least force the recall of the enemy team. Looking at the bottom, the core is exposed now, so the blue team might look to convert this to a win.
Yeah, Thrall is moving back in. They see him. Sylvanas is moving back. Do you feel with the shields he can really go for it? I don't think so.
I don't think so. She was trying to recall here, but there's really no way back. And we see the core rush on the other side. It's getting attacked already.
Yeah, 2 heroes down for another 9 seconds. Thrall is attacking at this point, but there's Wolfjoe. Here comes the ult. I don't think he has what it takes. We are seeing core damage being lost. Oink is going for it. There's the Haka nearly dying, but he's still alive. 30% against 25. They're going for it. So is his low. Soris is dead, only mobs your life. It's 10% on the core, 12. And this could be it. There's the kill against Muradin. At the same time, Thrall is going for Sylvana. She's down, so is Thrall. The GG called 11% against 25. The Haka jumped in with a Brush Stalker. You gotta be kidding me. Like, what?
Yeah, Thrall going for that backdoor actually managed to save them the game, because Sylvanas needed to stay there. He basically baited the attention of Sylvanas there. Imagine Sylvanas being at the core. The 10% would have just been gone, basically.
Wow. I mean, they could have even killed the Haka, but they focused on the guys. It's over. We have Casual Logic Gaming taking the game after all. It's the 2-1 victory. They advance to the winner bracket final. What a finish here in this first best of 3 series here at today's tiebreaker.